All right, let's get to this Browns game. We're going with Dallas has minus 4.5. So, River, you are our football insider. We always let them go first with the Browns score. What have you got?
Well, you got to stay away from the Browns if you're a fan and you really are putting money on this, but I don't have any money on this game, so I'm going all in on the Browns. I think that we have, I'm a little worried about Kareem Hunt showing up on the injury report, but I think that Nick Chubb is going to have a show-me type game where he's going to be able to grind out a bunch of yards, put him down for 2 touchdowns and 150 yards. He's going to show that he is on the same level as Zeke. I'm a little worried about our secondary, against the Cowboys, but I think that we're going to be able to hit some big plays behind their DBs. I'm going to take the Browns to win outright, 31-30.
So you said you don't have money on this, but after we're done here, I'm going to send you an email. I'm going to need your routing number, your account number, all of that stuff. Ellis, who do you have in this game?
Yeah, I understand the pick, and the Browns have a chance here. This is the type of game where narratives change, and it really reminds me. I think it was last year when the Bills went to Dallas and won on Thanksgiving, a game that nationally you're counted out on, but it can really change the way a team feels about themselves and really how you look at a team. But because I haven't seen it yet, the Browns haven't taken that step, and I haven't seen enough in those 2 wins to say they can go toe to toe with a Dallas #1 offense. I don't think they have the firepower to keep up. The Cowboys win 35-28.
All right, and I am also going to I'm going to follow Ellis's lead here. I've got the Cowboys. I think it'll be a close game. I think it could end up being a shootout, but I think a shootout favors Dallas, to be honest with you. Maybe the Browns can control the clock a little bit. So I'm going to say that the Cowboys minus 4.5 win this game. And you know what? That's okay. If the Browns are 2-2 after 4 weeks, I think most people would take that. Doug, what do you have?
I think this is their toughest non-division game of the 10 they play. I thought the opener at Baltimore is probably, go on the road to Baltimore. It's probably their toughest game of the year. You look at the other teams they're playing outside the division, Jacksonville and Tennessee and, the rest of the NFC East stinks. The Jets, they're going to have a lot of really winnable games. But I picked them to go 10-6 before the season. You got to find 6 losses somewhere, baby. If you start picking them to beat Dallas, you tell me where they're going to get 6 losses. If this is a team that beats Dallas, you think they're a playoff team. I don't know that there's any other way around it, right? When you see what else they got coming. So I would advise don't read too much into it. Shouldn't have read too much into week 1 against Baltimore. You'd like to see them be competitive, but I think they could go down there, get their butts kicked, and come back and still be a really good competitive football team for the rest of the year. So I cannot imagine a world outside of just being a diehard Browns fan where you would do anything but take the Cowboys minus the points here. So I think it could be a 14-point win for Dallas and really, in the end, not still tell us all that much about the Browns.
Mary Kay?
Well, first of all, I thought you picked the Browns to go 9-7 before the season, Doug. No?
I wrote a large thing about how it made all the sense in the world for the Browns to go 9-7, which is why I was picking them to go 10-6.
Oh.
Little bait and switch there.
Yeah, the headline just was deceiving. You got me too.
Yeah.
All right. So, you know what? I went back and forth on this, and for those that stick around, and I know you will, listen to our Dallas viewpoint from Shireen Williams. All those Dallas writers, they really believe the Browns are going to win this game because the way that they talk about Dallas, they just, they trash Dallas's defense and the offensive line. There are so many problems. Tyron Smith, their 7-time Pro Bowl left tackle, probably not going to play this game. Their right tackle got benched. All kinds of opportunities for Myles Garrett to wreck this game. So there are a lot of issues, including a poor secondary for Dallas right now. Lots and lots of things that you could look at with this game. And for a while there, I really thought about picking the Browns to win. But I really started to think, I just don't see them. They've played some pretty good opponents. They've played the Rams, the Falcons, and the Seahawks. And, when you're grading how a team is doing, I think you really have to take into account who have they beaten, who have they lost to. So they've lost to some good opponents. And I think they're probably better than some of the people covering them might think they are. I think Dak's going to want to really come back and prove himself. They can't go 1-3. They just can't afford to start out 1-3. So I am going to pick Dallas to cover this game, but I don't know. I really did go way back and forth with it.
I think
All
it's a
right.
super interesting point, Mary Kay, because I do think good writers, when you cover a pretty good team, you see the flaws more than the average person does. And so it would not surprise me that like all the people down in Dallas are like, man, these guys stink. And it's, if you're not a Dallas, you're like, don't you have Dak and all those receivers and Ezekiel Elliott and like you what?
Right.
You think you stink? So, but I know what you're coming from, because I think that means you're a good beat writer, because you think, man, but I just think Dallas just has too much going on.
Yeah, and Zeke, I think that Zeke really hasn't had sort of a good game yet. And I kind of think that they're going to try to use him for time of possession and try to hang on to the ball.